All right, kamusta na kayo?
Hola, hola, everyone.
What's good, y'all? My name is Nico Blitz.
And I'm Jackie Ramirez.
And this is the Mexipino podcast, episode 5?
Yes,
Something like that.
I believe so.
Or somewhere in ballpark around there. It's just been a busy post 2022. Y'all know what I mean. It's been a post New Year.
Yeah, it's just life's been happening.
Yeah, life has been super happening. I mean, literally the first day of New Year's, I'm already having a gig and everything, and It's kind of just been nonstop.
You got called back to the Kings?
Yes, that's what happened.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that even happened.
So you just assumed that, I know I had something, but I forgot when it was.
No, I just remembered I had a gig. I just forgot what the gig was. But yeah, it was the LA Kings.
Yeah, it was the LA Kings, and then I think, didn't you have something? No, it was just LA Kings, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's just been like arena and then restaurants and everything, all the above, and then just kind of nonstop. It kind of just feels like a continuation of a 2021.
Yeah.
It's kind of like 2021 part 2.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. I don't know. The whole thing is a good thing, yeah, but I mean, just because, still in a pandemic, but it's a good thing that, both of us are still continuing to excel in our careers, and that's not stopping. So I'm really proud of us for that.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not stopping, and I'm actually very glad that we got the booster shots when we did. I don't know if y'all know, but then we ended up getting the booster shots literally a week before the Omarion virus just hit the streets.
The Omarion virus, I'm freaking sick.
I know, but I'm being serious. Like, what had happened was we had got the booster, and then literally 4 days after that, everyone was getting hit with the virus.
Everyone was getting sick. And I remember thinking what the heck? I couldn't really quite grasp how bad it was getting until it started getting close to us. Yeah. And we started seeing that people that we knew and that sometimes that we were around were testing positive, and at work, I was getting emails from HR saying another person tested positive at the LA location, and another one. And then there was one email that I got a second follow-up email saying, hey, you came in close contact with this person. I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening right now?
Yeah, we've had to tread lightly.
Yes.
Even at the club, at Arena, I'm over here. I'm so glad that they've put a limit on the amount of people that they put on the stage where the DJ booth is contained. And so literally it's just DJs, photographers, and anybody who are directly associated with the club will be able to be on stage. Yeah,
and luckily, I mean, it's been very scary. I haven't gone to Arena because of it, and that's a huge part. Why? I've just been so scared, and I'm scared to even work events at work because it's just I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
and I know I'm taking every precaution, but I know other people might not be.
Yeah, that's true. And I think even though people or places require vaccination cards and whatnot, which a lot of the places we go to do require that. Mm-hmm. There's probably someone who slips through the cracks. All we're really saying is just be safe, everybody.
Yes.
Just be safe.
Be safe. Practice, your safety, sanitizing, obviously washing your hands for 20 seconds. Basically, whatever the CDC is saying, do the opposite because the CDC is on crack right now.
I do have a story. Jackie and I ended up going to this place called PP Pop. It was one of the restaurants that we recommended, I believe, on the first podcast. And so we went to PP Pop, and then there was this couple sitting next to us and one of their friends. And basically, the lady amongst the couple, she was also taking care of a kid at the table.
Honestly, I didn't even see that she was taking care of a kid until I'm guessing her boyfriend. He was just oh yeah, he's been asleep, and I was I leaned back and I was
yeah,
oh my god, there's a child.
Baby. There was a whole ass baby.
I didn't see the child.
How did you not see the child? The baby was right there.
The baby was asleep the entire time, and I'm on the same side as her, so I didn't see she was blocking the car seat.
Okay, that's completely fair. Nonetheless, so this lady, she kept on dropping her food. Maybe it happened once. It probably happened about 3 times. So then I leaned over and I said, hey, so the CDC said that they doubled the 5-second rule. She said, what?
And I was just like, and I looked at her and I was like, please don't listen to him. Like, he's just making a dumb joke. And then her boyfriend just goes, that was good. I was like,
that was good. And, we had to have a joke stick. They seemed like a cool couple.
They were. Like, we would have been friends with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and
just him or not her?
No.
You said we would have been friends with him.
I said them.
Okay.
Anyway.
Right, because they, them.
Okay, that's not the reason. But I was just talking about them in general. But what was funny is that they were Filipino too. And then
so it's funny if they're Filipino? Wow.
No,
wow.
No. And she started saying some stuff in Tagalog, and then her boyfriend's like, we're probably not the only Filipinos here, blah, 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 blah. And I turned, I was like, you're not. And it was funny because I said it, I was like, he's probably understanding what you're saying. I understand probably maybe a few words, but that's it. Yeah. And she was just started laughing. And he's like, nice.
Yeah, no, I said, you can let a couple putangina shits fly,
yeah, and that's when he started laughing. I could tell that the guy was like hella just laughing at your jokes, and I was just like, oh my God, please don't let this
Yeah, and it's a very small restaurant, so if you laugh outrageously loud, the entire restaurant can hear you.
Which Nico laughs outrageously loud all the time.
That's because I don't give a fuck.
He really does not. He has no filter. He laughs no matter what. This man, I always tell him, like, whenever, when Nico, I love you, babe. I really do. But sometimes, like, in a quiet place, you're very loud, and I'm just like, babe. And you're like, what? And I was like,
so are you telling me to not be myself in a public place?
No, I'm not.
See, that's the issue that a lot of people suffer from, especially in the United States. The fact that people cannot be themselves, especially in public places.
Sir, what?
I'm saying.
I'm just saying you're outrageously loud.
Yeah, so allow me to be outrageously loud wherever the hell I please.
Oh my gosh. So you're going to be loud like at a golfing range.
I mean, I'm not
at a golf course during a golf tournament where you're supposed to be quiet. Nico would be that one person to make like a Happy Gilmore reference in the middle of a swing because he just wants to be outrageously loud and obnoxious. And
first of all, I don't know why a swing would be in the middle of a golf course.
No, in the middle.
I'm just kidding. It's a joke. Jesus Christ.
Did you just push the laugh button on your own
joke?
Nico is the type of person to laugh at his own joke. And I think we talked about this the other day where Nico just, and then he's going to come back right now and he's going to be like, you got to hype yourself up. You got to be your own hype man. Blah,
you do, because if ain't nobody else, well, I thought it was funny. So fuck you if you didn't think it was funny.
Me?
No, I'm saying the general people, the he, him, she, her, they, thems.
Oh my God. Anyway,
if ain't nobody think it's funny, I think it's funny.
Anyways,
I don't even know what this podcast is about. I'm just kidding. We
really don't.
Yeah, we were laying down. We were just like, what the hell do we talk about? And then the topic that I pulled directly out of my ass.
Directly out of your
ass. I literally pulled this topic directly out of my ass. Was expectations when it comes to age.
Yes, and I feel like now that we're saying it out loud, we're going to be able to talk about, we're going to get very deep into it. Because I already, like, did not accomplish some things that I wanted to.
Yeah, neither did I.
So I'm just like, well, fuck it,
Yeah, I definitely did not. So also for some preface too, before we get into this, I was born in 1993, so I'm currently 28 years old right now.
Yes.
Jackie was born in 98.
Yes, I was born in 98, and I just turned 23 this past November.
Yeah, so we are 5 years apart, and she brought up a very interesting point because, I've already surpassed some of the ages where she put some expectations on herself.
Yeah, so I want to get Nico's input, on what happened. Like, how do you feel?
What happened?
No, what happened? And then, like, how you feel when, you set certain goals for yourself at a certain age and then it doesn't happen for whatever reason, and it doesn't have to be, it's not necessarily a bad thing,
Yeah.
If you don't accomplish something at a certain age, it's not a bad thing. It's just that maybe it's not the right time.
Yeah. Well, I guess where would I start? Maybe in high school then, and then kind of just like build after that?
Yeah, I would say maybe, let's say 18.
All right.
Yeah, we'll start at 18.
Well, I think at 18, one of my short-term goals was to finish college in 4 years, and I already saw that everything was going downhill because I finished college in 5. So I said, well, my life is already fucked. We just not going to have any more expectations after this.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
So, okay. So I know that you went to...
Done.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. But I know that you went to junior college after high school. And I did too. But for you, was that always like the blueprint? Like, was I gonna go, like, I'm gonna go to junior college for 2 years and then I'm gonna transfer? Or did you want to go straight to a university?
Oh no, so basically the reason why I went to a junior college was because I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And I had already got accepted to places like UC Merced at the time. I believe I got accepted to UC Riverside, San Francisco State, San Jose State, and this is like when I was applying in high school. So I got accepted to those UCs and state colleges, and I didn't have any plans of going like outside of California at that time.
Okay.
And so I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go to junior college because I don't know what I want to do, and we're just going to figure it out over there. I also didn't want to just waste money because I low-key think college is a scheme. As I'm growing up, I low-key think college is a scheme.
I mean, you did share that with me a couple days ago.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I low-key think college is a scheme unless you're trying to learn a trade that you can't learn on the fucking internet.
Yeah, I mean, that is very, very true because the other day I did talk about going to a certificate program at Cal State Long Beach with Nico, but the certificate program was $15,000 for 10 months, and that's quite a lot, obviously. And for certificate programs, they don't offer financial aid. And then Nico's just like, look, you have the experience, just learn from whoever you can already because you already know so many people in that field.
Exactly.
So
I mean, that's it. And you learn that shit for free, or you learn that shit for a $50, $30 lunch with whoever you want to meet with. It's nothing crazy.
And I will say that because I have not finished school yet. I mean, I do want to go back to school. And I think it sucks to say this, but I think I want to finish school mainly for my parents, which is kind of a shitty thing if you think about it. Because
I did it.
It's not really for myself at this point. But I think, I've already accomplished so many things that I didn't need without a piece of paper.
Yeah, I mean, you could always go to school and, you could possibly pick up things that you probably would not pick up in real life, too.
Yeah.
Like, look at Sweetie, for example. She has her bachelor's in communications from USC. Like, that's pretty freaking cool. Mm-hmm. And Megan Thee Stallion, I think she also has a degree as well.
Yeah,
so, I'm not saying don't go to school or anything. I'm just saying, if you could learn this shit for free somewhere and really apply it,
then do it.
Then go ahead and do it. Nonetheless, back to the point, at 18, I thought that I was going to graduate from, at that point in my life now, I thought I was going to graduate from junior college in 2 years and then head on to a university, I believe by 2013. Mm-hmm. And then once I noticed that things weren't going according to plan, I was like, fuck it, I'm kind of just going to go with the flow. I remember I had aspirations when I was younger, though. I think, obviously graduate college by 22 at that point. Mm-hmm. Maybe have a wife and kids by 25, or not wife and kids. Maybe just have essentially a wife and a place to live around 25, 26 ish, mm-hmm. and then have kids by 28. And then, I'm 28 now. So here we go. But yeah, I mean, those were the expectations that I had for myself. Now, I guess for the expectations that I see that other people have or have had, And I guess the expectations that their parents also put on them as well, at least in the Filipino community, was kind of within that realm of what I told you. You know, I think a lot of Filipino parents wanted you to have like a wife and kid, well, you know, a relationship, a marriage before 30, and then just continue on, because by then the expectation would be like, again, you are making like a shit ton of money so you can afford to do all those things by the time you are 30 years old, which I'm over here looking at that like this is totally unrealistic now.
Yeah,
you know,
it was a different time when they wanted that for us, you know, or when they wanted that for their kids. It was easier. There was just like, you know, there's A, B, and C, and you guys are going to do A, B, and C. And if you do it, then you'll do this by this age. And that's not how it works now, because so many of us are going different routes. We don't necessarily want to do A, B, and C. So,
yeah. And I think society's also put so much pressure on us to go with that traditional route. And by traditional, I do mean like go to high school, go to college for 4 years. Because if you think about it, your mindset at 22, like, I mean, I can't even ask you this because you're 23, and then, you know, it was pandemic when it happened when you were 22 for Jackie. For me at 22, I was still back. No, I actually moved out here to Los Angeles, and I mean, I was still like in party mode, honestly. Like, I was still trying to like, you know, just like go out, party with my boy DJ Rymix, and, you know, just like kind of learn a couple things. But I had like, at that point, like, if that was what society placed on us, that we were supposed to have our shit together by 22 years old, and I'm over here thinking about doing some other shit, it's like, I mean, it's very unrealistic. I don't even think being 25 and having all your shit together is very realistic.
Yeah, I mean, granted, there are some people that, you know, will have their shit together by 25. But I think for me, I get so disappointed in myself sometimes when I feel like, damn, like I already passed. And granted, 22 was not that long ago, obviously. But I told myself, you know, I'm going to graduate college. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I think for me, I obviously didn't go straight to a 4-year. I went to a junior college. And I only went to a junior college, too, because I was getting paid to play softball. Yeah. So it was either take a scholarship for a 4-year university that was just starting up in Anaheim, and on a partial scholarship, which was basically like maybe 30% that they were offering me. And it was a business management school. Or go to a junior college. They'll pay for my classes under like the government fee waivers, which technically it's like a scholarship, but since it's a junior college, they can't call it a scholarship. They're just waiving my classes. All I have to do is pay for my books and everything like that. And I actually get a job on campus too, that they work with me, and I get priority enrollment. So it was kind of like a no-brainer. Like, I'm just going to go play softball. I'll ride these 2 years out. And I liked it. Don't get me wrong, but there was a point where I didn't enjoy myself playing anymore. And I knew that if I stopped playing, it was going to be taken away from me as far as financial. And it sucked because I was just there. I was being miserable. And now that I say it out loud, I was experiencing a lot of, I guess, that party mode that you were talking about at a very influential part of my life. Because if you think about it, I'm 17 when I graduate high school. I wasn't 18, so I wasn't even really legal at that point. And then I'm going into junior college. I'm experiencing these really hard transitions in my life with people who weren't the best people to hang around with, too. They were constantly like, oh, just don't go to class, or, you know, like, let's go party on this weekend, and, you know, so-and-so's throwing a party at their house, so let's just go to their house and, like, you know, get drunk. And if my parents are watching this, yeah, sorry, I was drinking at, like, underage. And it sucked because then it really started to take a toll on me and my mental health, and just like, dang, people started to view me a certain way, and that's never how I wanted to be viewed. And so then I really ended up not liking school, not liking the people that I hung out with because they were just very toxic people. And I stopped going to school, and I tried going back to school again. I liked it for a bit. And then I realized, well, like, what am I doing? Like, I don't like this. I don't like school. But I don't want to disappoint my parents.
Yeah.
So I was just, okay, if I'm not going to go to school, I better make sure that I am doing everything I can to get to where I want to be without having to have this piece of paper.
Yeah.
And so like I did. I'm doing it. And yet I still feel it's not enough. I still feel it's not enough for certain people. So that's why.
For who?
For my parents, for like, you know, anybody who wants me to have that blueprint, you know?
But who does aside from your parents?
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of pressure placed that my family would put on me too, like my family in general, because it's always, look at what Jackie's doing, you know? Jackie's the blueprint. I'm the blueprint for my cousins. And if I don't go to school, then what am I?
Well, your brother didn't go to school.
Yeah, because he got lucky. He got lucky with a job that, you know, now gives him all these types of benefits that allows him to take care of his family.
Yeah.
And me, I'm over here having like 6 jobs because I'm a host, and a host doesn't, you know, necessarily maintain one gig. It's so many gigs that you have to try and get.
Well, I mean, that's just the route that you set yourself for. No one said this was easy.
Yeah, I know. But
this shit's free.
Yeah, but so that was at least my goals that I set for myself, where I had set for myself when I just graduated high school up until I want to say maybe like 21, and then I turned 20, like, and I knew that I obviously by 19 I was just like not even on that path anymore. I was just like, okay, I'm clearly not going to get to where I set that goal for myself. So I just went a completely different direction, and it's working out. So I can't be too mad at it, but I know that I do want to go back to school, and I do want to just get that piece of paper just so, you know, here.
I mean,
it's here.
I mean, I don't see why you need to. I honestly don't.
I know.
Because it's the field that we're in, you definitely don't need it.
Yeah, I know. I know you feel it that way, but...
And then appeasal comes in so many different ways outside of a piece of paper. I just don't see the reasoning as to paying, what was it, $15,000 for a certificate.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
When literally you could use $15,000 to jumpstart your own business.
That's very true. But then, like,
what's a piece? I mean, I'm being serious. Like, I don't know what a piece of paper is gonna do, but I know what $15,000 toward your business and working your ass off can do.
Yeah, I mean, you are right. I mean, it's like that conversation that we had. What was it, yesterday or the day before, about, like, you know, me getting back into my lash business? Because I'm not gonna lie, guys, like, my lash business, I could make a lot in a week. I could make a lot in a month. And because I'm getting caught up with, you know, work and everything like that, it's taking a dump. And it's just like, no, like, I don't want it to take a dump because I love to do lashing, not just because of the money, but it's because it's something that I enjoy. It's relaxing for me. So I think that's where, like, you know, the $15,000 that I would put into a certificate program, I could rather put that into my lash business.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think people do see college and all that, like, they see the repercussions not from their own being, but from the people who, like, help them out. So for instance, let's say your parents help you out and pay for your college. It's like, okay, well, I got to get this done because my parents paid for this shit, or someone helped me pay for this shit, so I got to get this done. and it's not necessarily for you. It's because somebody else helped you do it.
Yeah, and I think
whereas if you put in 15,000 of your own dollars, the repercussion comes from, oh shit, well, I put in my own money. But then a lot of the times you have one of two ways to go. You have one of two ways to go about it if somebody else pays for you or if you pay for your own shit. One, you're either going to double down and either get it done, or two, you're just going to slack off. At least for me, like, you know, I live in an apartment dolo, and it's like I'm making money like my own way, so I need to make sure that I make my freaking money. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to pay my own, you know, pay my rent, pay my food, pay for like any of the utilities in this apartment. We can't even do this freaking podcast if I don't make my damn money.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like, I think the issue is that when you don't put enough pressure on yourself to get your own shit done, if you go the route where you don't go to college and you don't, if you go to the route where you don't go to college and you decide to do your own business and you don't double down on your own business because you think there's going to be no repercussions that come with that, then that's the worst hole possible to be in. Because not only did you pick the most difficult thing out of the two to do, you're putting yourself in just a shittier position because now it's like, well, it's kind of, I mean, it's not that it's too late to go to college or anything, but I mean, you're really pushing yourself farther away from getting your shit done faster.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you're trying to figure out like, okay, I need to get my shit done. I need to get my shit to where it needs to be. So let me figure out how to do that in like a certain amount of years. But then it's another thing to be like fucking around for a couple years and then just blowing off like, okay, well, you know, I said I'm going to do this, I said I'm going to do that, and then 1 month becomes 2 months becomes 10, and so on and so forth. And then next thing you know, it's like, I mean, this is an expectation for age itself. Like next thing you know, you're like 30 years old and you don't really have shit for yourself. Like, I don't want that. And I think that's a goal that I put for myself. Like, can I make sure that I am happy and financially stable by the time I'm 30 from doing solely independent work? And I feel like I'm on track with that.
I think you are. I think, like, going back to what I said about, like, you know, feeling that pressure of my parents, I think, and let me get my thoughts together. I feel like a lot of times in Mexican culture, and this could be in different cultures too, that our parents we know that our parents sacrifice so much. We know that our grandparents sacrifice so much. So we feel kind of bad in a sense if we let them down by not doing the things that they wanted us to do. And I know that that's not like okay. I know that, you know, people are going to go different directions, different routes in their lives, but you can't help but feel like guilty in a sense. That's
guilty for what?
Guilty for not going to college? For not going to college, for not, you know, doing the things that they wanted us to do.
No, but the thing is, like, they only want us to do that because they don't know how else you would succeed in America. Because in America, that's what they promote. They don't promote starting your own business. They promote go to school, go to college, pay all this money to do all this shit. And then you have a chance at getting the job that you want to get. They don't promote, like, work your ass off over here, do your own shit.
Be your own
boss.
And
be your own boss, and it'll boom. They don't know that. I mean, maybe in the Philippines, because, you know, my a lot of my cousins back home, like, they are fishermen. So they run their own business, and that's all they do. I think even at one point my dad said, like, he was, like, picking rice. You know, like him and his family, well, my family, but, you know, like the older side of my family, like they were picking rice with my grandma. And that alone is like its own business. But when you move to a country where you have zero assets and you have zero connections, zero network, the only thing you can do is just go with the American standard because that is what's promoted as the easiest way to do something. And of course, when you move to a new country, it's like, well, cool. Like, we need to make sure we get money fast.
Yeah, but even now, it's like you said, that piece of paper doesn't mean shit.
It doesn't. I mean, at least in my field, it doesn't mean shit. And, sorry to my parents if they hear this, but like...
Your mom's going to say, like, your mom always says, like, so much for that college tuition.
Yeah, I mean, but I will say this, though. Out of college, I got my head straight,
Yeah.
I did get my head straight, and it allowed me to think about life in a way in which, like, you need to be able to schedule yourself and make a clear path for yourself. Otherwise, you're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
So I will thank my parents for that and for college for that particular reason. But, also to say that, like, I didn't learn how to DJ. There wasn't a DJ class in college.
Mm-hmm.
But I did meet my friends in college who taught me how to DJ.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't necessarily tell us. They taught us one way of doing radio in college. That's not the way radio is done in real life.
Yeah.
They never taught us how to podcast in college, but this is what I do on my everyday life. They might teach you they might teach you the basics of like public speaking in college, but they don't ever put you in front of a crowd to actually do it.
Yeah.
So
I give myself a lot of credit for that because, like you said, you had some people to show you DJing, and you had the basics of how radio works, and you had the basics of how this works and public speaking. Me, I give myself a lot of credit because no one really helped me. No one in my family, not a single person that I went to college with does what I do. My mom, she hates talking in front of crowds. She hates talking. My dad will talk to people. He'll make like a little intimate crowd, but to talk in like front of tens of thousands of people, no. My brother, forget it.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Shouts out to Jacob.
But I give myself a lot of credit because I figured out how to do the things that I do on my own just because I know that I have that drive in me and no one else is going to come and hand it to me and say like, hey, Jackie, here's how you do this.
Yeah. Well, that's why you need to go out and go seek this information for yourself. That's why this whole idea of like expectations at a certain age, like it doesn't even matter. I mean, other than the fact that like if you want to set an expectation for yourself, like I said, like by the time I'm 30, I want to be able to have like lucrative money, money just coming in and out because I've built like such an empire. And the way I'm doing that in particular right now is through radio, through podcasting, through DJing, and a business that I have within DJing as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, not a lot of people can have that by the time they're 30. And especially in my particular situation where no one tells you to do any of that. Nobody tells you how vast the world is and how creative your business can be.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to keep on doing things until it actually works.
And how many outlets you can have of income,
Exactly.
The possibilities are endless with it. And I think, because this is me talking because of my age, but like I'm 23 right now, and I know that by 25, I still believe that I've always told myself this, that like, because at one point I didn't want kids. At one point I didn't, and I just told myself, and I think it was more of fear. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be a good mom. Like I can barely take care of myself sometimes. Like what the hell? Like I can't take care of a child. But then at one point it flipped and I was like, okay, I want kids. I want a husband. I want this like, white picket fence life type of thing. And I knew that in the career that I'm in right now, it's going to be hard. So because like I said, you as an entertainment host, you can have one like main gig that's always going to be there. But for the most part, there's other little gigs that you can do to make your streams of income. So it's my job to go as hard as I can to make sure that I am financially stable by the time I'm 25, 26, because I know that that's what I want for my life.
Okay, that's fair. 25, 26, you have 2-3 years.
Yeah. And I know that I'm going to go hard regardless, pandemic and shit sucks during a pandemic, but I know that I can make something of myself in 2 or 3 years. I'm already making something of myself in a pandemic. So I don't see why I can't. Hopefully, there's an end to this COVID, hopefully once that end happens, it's going to be like everyone's going to know my name.
Yeah. But I mean, that being said, I don't think there's ever going to be an end to COVID itself. it's going to be like the flu, and that's shouts out to the CDC. That's what they told me, for me on Twitter especially. No, but seriously, like I think right now is still the time to actually go ahead and start up your small business, because there's no other time like right now. The fact that you can still do stuff from home and make a business from home and still thrive from it, like it's never too late. I have people who still tell me like, oh, it's way too late to hop on Twitch, like it's dying. It's like, you're tripping, because like this is literally going to be just like how radio is very lucrative for DJs and musicians and whatnot. Like Twitch is the exact same thing. So it doesn't make sense why you wouldn't see Twitch as a small business for yourself.
Literally, how long has Twitch been around? For someone to say like, oh well, Twitch is dying, this and that, it's too late. It's like, dude, no, it's not. Like, there's so many gamers out there and different variety streamers that make so much money still off of Twitch. It's like, it's not dying down, because there's always going to be someone there in that room watching you in that chat room.
Exactly. And, I want you to apply that to any small business. I want to give a shout out to my friend Princess. She has her small business now called Crafted by Cess. And basically what she does is she will take everyday items. And by everyday items, I mean like pillows, clothing, Hennessy bottles, Fireball bottles, literally everything, and customize it to how exactly you want it. And I've seen her do custom work over the past couple of years, and I've always told her like, hey, like, why don't you actually make this a business? Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? And the answer was always, I don't know. And then until literally like 3 months ago, 2-3 months ago, she officially started her Instagram page. So shouts out to her. And now she's just going hard with it. And I'm like, that's what I'm fucking talking about. And I will support it, because I love seeing people like you, or just like friends in general, just do shit that has their name on it and they want to push the fuck out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I even had a talk today with my coworker, Kristen. We were literally talking about my lash business and everything like that. And then she's like, oh, well, I don't know if you know, but I have a baking page on Instagram. I was like, I didn't know that. And she goes, yeah, well, I'm not that like good, like blah, blah, blah. She goes, but I do a few orders here and there. I was like, why would you say you're not that good? Like, if you got a few orders here and there, you're good. Someone thinks you're good. And so I was looking at her page, and she has like these Oreo peanut butter cookies that she makes. And I was like, dude, that looks so good. Like, I'll order a batch from you. I'm like, Kristen, like, push yourself to like make this. And like, she was telling me how one of the executives at our work, his wife owns a bakery. And I told her, I was like, Kristen, go help his wife on the weekends, or go figure out a recipe that she has and like apply it to you. Let's say, because then I was looking at that Oreo and peanut butter cookie recipe, and I was like, damn, it looked really good, but I know Nico's allergic to peanut butter. So I told her, I was like, figure out a way to make a cookie butter Oreo cookie. So for people who are allergic, like, to peanut butter, because Nico's allergic to peanut butter. And I was just like, there's so many things you can do. And she's like, yeah, I think I'm going to do like the Valentine's Day, like orders and cookies. And she did some last year. And I was just like, dude, do that. Like, put yourself out there. Like, and she's like, yeah, but I don't know. I was like, no, don't know what? Like, just do it. And she's like, yeah, but I don't know why I'm saying I don't know. I was like, exactly. Like, you don't, like, just apply it and do it.
Yeah, well, shouts out to KB first and foremost. I love her. Shouts out to KB. But I think the issue here is that, again, if we were to bring it back to college, for example, because you are paying, like for college, you are paying to get this education. Mm-hmm. Like you put down a couple $1,000s to be like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get this certificate. So your money is on the line. Whereas when it comes to a small business, especially when you start out, you don't know how much money you should put down. So then you're kind of carefree because you don't have any monetary expectation that's telling you like, hey, like you're wasting your money if you don't do this. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
So I think the issue here is that like when someone does end up starting a small business, they get discouraged right away because they also compare themselves to the people who are already doing it, but not knowing that these people have been doing it for years and they've just found really good ways to promote themselves.
Because everyone has to start from somewhere.
Exactly. Like when I started DJing, again, like I wasn't getting gigs like left and right. I was probably getting 1 gig a month, if that, Mm-hmm. And it took me a while to actually build up the amount of clients I have until I can actually make this into a lucrative business. Or even when I started podcasting, I would just scrap for like literally anybody who I even found like slightly interesting. And it got to the point where I'm like, cool, now I get people who just completely interest me and I don't have to worry about like scrapping for people,
Yeah.
And so it's like any small business. So you can start off your small business on day one and then you can go through your Rolodex of clients throughout the week. Once you figure out like who your clients are, you can actually give them free shit in regards to your business so they get a sample size of it. Mm-hmm. And then you got to go out and search for more clients. The clients that you gave free shit to, you might get 1 or 2 people that might want to purchase something from you at that point. Maybe it's like a month later. Mm-hmm. But then regardless, during that month, you better be posting on social media like, hey, like this is what I do. Like this is how I'm going about things and this is my business. And if I'm being completely honest, y'all, this is the absolute easiest time in our lives to promote a small business and actually do something because you can actually spread your word across the nation and across the world just like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know why people don't see that.
Yeah, especially during this, like you said, it's easier right now because during this pandemic, I mean, look at how many people started their small businesses in the pandemic. Like just regardless of what it is, I know so many people, like I know some girl, well, I'm not like friends with her, but I know her because I went to high school with her. She started I believe it's called The Grape Villain or Grape Villain. But essentially what she does, it's cannabis infused, like chocolate, and she dips grapes in the chocolate, and it's just like little frozen grapes, and it's like candy almost.
That sounds cool.
It's like snacks, and she's started taking orders, so she has that business. I know so many people who started like their own creations business, like Princess. There's so many other people that I
like Ube Naban.
Ube Naban, yes, we tried Ube Naban. Shout out to Ube Naban. Still want to go and get that s'more one again.
Yeah, basically Ube Naban. For all of you who don't know, it's like a cinnamon roll. But then it's
ube flavored.
Yes. So for all my Filipinos, it's really dope. Shouts out to Ube Naban.
Yes.
Or if you just like ube in general. Like I know people outside of the Filipino community enjoy ube. I'm saying that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Filipinos aren't the only ones that enjoy ube, babe.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, I'm just saying there's a way to go about things, but that initial hump that discourages people because there's that initial hump. When you start something, you get hype. Mm-hmm. Then naturally, once the hype is gone, that's when your personal interest may fade away. And usually that's where we see a lot of people just like give up. It's like, all right, well, I tried it for like an hour or so. Like, all right, whoopty whoop.
Yeah.
If I were to apply that to my own life, you remember when I don't know if y'all know, but I designed my own merchandise.
Yeah.
Right? Jackie knows that. And I was designing merchandise for artists at one point, and I did it for maybe like a month or 2.
I think it was like a cool month and a half too.
Yeah. It was something around there, and I liked it, and I probably made like $1,000 off of it, but that's because I was already versed with like Photoshop and I already knew what I was doing. But I also didn't like the fact that, like, you know, I had to go through like revisions with these artists, and I just told myself, you know what, like, this isn't something that I want to do. It's something that I tried. It's something that I had interest in. And then I found out, like, you know what, I like designing stuff, but only when it's for me. I don't like designing stuff for other people because
you know what you want, and you don't necessarily, like you said, you don't like that back and forth of like, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. And
exactly.
You tried it, you didn't like it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But if it's something that you genuinely want to do, push yourself to get through it. Because at the end of the day, like you said, this is your small business. Take pride in your work, and that's just that initial hump that you have to get over, because the comparison is the devil. And you are always going to compare yourself, and it's just like, it's not fair to you, because you are your own business. You are your own person, and your product, whatever it may be, it will differ from others in one certain way. And that one certain way is going to make so many other customers come to you.
Yeah. And not only will it differ from others, but I'm sure we all have friends, some sort of friends, or family, or someone who would be interested in whatever the fuck we end up making.
Yeah.
And that is literally your first clientele. If we were to go back to my friend Princess's business, Crafted by Cess, she made me a example. A couple years ago, she made me a Hennessy bottle with Nico Blitz on it. And then as of recently, I ended up buying a couple stickers from her to put on Fireball bottles for Jackie for her birthday. And it was custom. It said, like, happy birthday, Jay Quillen on them. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. She gave me the free shit years ago. I came back as a returning client when she officially starts the business. And here we are now. Yeah. I'm just saying.
It works out. It definitely does.
Yep. And we shouted out a whole bunch of small businesses. So shouts out to y'all who we shouted out. And shouts out to everybody who is listening who has a small business or is even thinking about starting their own business, man. And, you know.
Do it.
Just do it. Just do it.
Do it.
Just do it. And, you know, make an expectation for yourself. The same way I've built my business and I told myself, like, I want to be at this point in life by 30. I'm just working towards that. And what happens by the time it is 30, I can never be disappointed. I'm also the type of person now that just kind of goes with the flow. And, you know, I find that when your expectations aren't met, it's because something greater has happened for you.
Wow.
Especially if you've been applying all the work.
Wow. You got deep with it there.
I'm just saying, you know.
So, because you've already passed 25, your next goal or your next, like, expectation age is 30, and that's what you're focusing on.
Yeah. I don't really care about 28, 29. I'm just focused on 30 and where I can be by the time I'm 30. And that gives me a little over a year to figure it out. And who knows? Maybe the expectations I have for myself at 30 are going to be met. Maybe they're not. And then after that, my next expectation age that I'm putting on myself, not the pressures from other people, is going to be 35. Because realistically, in our line of work, everyone's prime age is around 40. So you don't hit like your peak until about 40. But when you hit that, you're supposed to make like a shit ton of fucking money if you've been putting in the work for the decade or so. So, you know.
Wow.
Charlemagne's around 40. DJ Head's around 40. Bootleg Kev's around like 33 and he's just killing it. But then he started when he was like 16.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
I think for you started
I started at a quote-unquote later age. I didn't start DJing until 2017.
But for starting at a quote-unquote later age, the work that you've put in is, you know, accelerating because your career is accelerating because of the work that you put in.
Yeah, because within that time, I'm applying my 10,000 hours. Yeah. So whenever people tell me, like, I've been DJing for 10 years, it's like, have you really, like... And that's me kind of talking shit, like... I don't care if you've been DJing for 10 years. I don't care if you've been DJing for like 20 years. Like if you are not at a place that I aspire to be, that kind of means I've already put in so much more work in this particular field. Now, granted, maybe you've done like a couple things, maybe there's a lot of like life choices that you've had to make, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I don't like it when people talk to me about like, yeah, I've been DJing for like this time, like, like you're like a son in this, da-da-da, like fuck out of here. Like I'm cool off of that. Like I already know the amount of work I'm putting in, and it's like tremendously a lot. So outside of that, like I already know who my mentors are in regards to like DJing. Like I really look at like DJ Icy Ice, for example. I really look at Bootleg Kev, for example. And I really look at like Jay Espinoza or even like Miles Medina, for example. And, for the people who have been DJing for like such a long time, and it's like, hey, man, I just hope that you continue to put in that work, because I'm going to continue putting in my work.
Yeah.
And we're just going to keep on going from there.
Wow. I think I'm finding my mentors. And it's definitely a little bit hard, because sometimes people don't want to share, people don't want to, help out and be that type of mentor. And I've quickly realized some people who don't want to do that, and that's fine. Like, I don't care, but those are the people that I don't really necessarily want to learn from then, The people who I want to learn are the people that I want to learn from are the people who I actually, I'm always liking their post. I'm always talking to them. I'm always, just there and communicating with them. And those are the people who have given me opportunities too. Like Jess Rosales, she's been a huge help in this past few months. She gave me the opportunity for UCLA, and I thank her so much for that. So I consider her not only a friend, but a mentor too. Naz Perez, she is where I want to be entertainment-wise. Dave Styles. Dave, he like literally, no, and I know, babe, I know. You.
I love you, Dave.
But anyway, like Dave, he probably won't give himself credit, but he has he's one of the people that pushed me to go and try and, host for Dodgers. And I told him this. I was like, hey, thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, for what? I was like, because, dude, like, oh shit, I like moved the mic. I was like, because, dude, like, you encouraged me to do it. And now look at it. Now look at where I am.
Oh, shouts out to good old Dave Styles.
Dave Styles of 104.3 My FM.
Oh, God. Dave fucking Styles. Anyways, y'all. Well, I think that's the end of this podcast. Expectations at age, and also shouts out to the small businesses.
Yeah. Let's close it out, though, reiterating where we want to be at our next expectational age.
All right, go ahead.
25, 26 for me. I'm going to be taking over Southern California. I'm going to be taking over the entertainment business. And I don't know, relationship wise, we'll see where we're at. I would like to, no, I'm not putting pressure on you, but I would like to be engaged.
I'm not putting pressure on you, but I'm telling you on camera.
Yes, but that's like I said, this is my expectation, and it might not always happen. Kids, I can wait. I can wait. We'll see what happens, though. Life happens. But career-wise, I know that I'm going to be taking over the sports realm and entertainment hosting. And who knows? I'll be working maybe for E.
I think you have to be much more specific.
What do you mean?
Because to take over LA is very broad.
Well, I did
be very specific.
I want to be an entertainment host. I want to be an in-arena host for every single sport that there is here in SoCal. I want to have basketball under my belt. I want to have baseball, which I already do. I want to have soccer. I want to have football. I want to have, and I want to have an NBA team and a WNBA team. That's what I want. And, you know, who knows? But I am putting it out there into existence. As far as entertainment, I want to work for a big corporation like E! News. I want to work for Rotten Tomatoes. I want to work for somewhere in the entertainment field. And I want to be a face on their platform. I want to be on TV. I want to be covering, you know, red carpet, Grammys. I want to be that person who's like, oh, like, I know Jackie knows her shit, so I'm going to listen to what she has to say.
Amen. I think by 30, all the podcasting is going to be blown up. Nico Blitz podcast, Mexipino podcast, every podcast that I'll be engaged with. Also the DJing, I'm just going to go freaking crazy. And by crazy, I mean like I'm going to be able to travel the world by doing that. I have plans of like doing Seattle this year. I definitely want to go back to Vegas this year. Want to go to New York, want to go to the UK to DJ. I kind of just want to go everywhere and just DJ and like do my thing. And that's before I'm 30, but I'm over here talking about I could probably do all this shit this year. But we'll see. And then in regards to like radio too, I just want to keep on doing all the radio shit that I'm doing, and hopefully it's just becoming more of a financial asset for me. Just everything. Basically everything that I'm doing right now, I just want to continue doing and then just put it to a point to where it's going to make money for itself.
Just put it on steroids.
Yeah, just put it on steroids and, you know, my pocket's on steroids. You feel me? That's all I'm hoping for. Ain't nothing to it, really. That's all I'm saying. Like, I kind of I'm already in the field and, like, what I want to do. So all that's left is to make more money through it. And that's it. Simple as that. Final thoughts? No?
None.
All right. Well, everybody, this is the Mexipino podcast. Thank you for listening. We will be back for episode 6 next go around. My name is Nico Blitz.
I'm Jackie Ramirez.
And this is the Mexipino podcast. Later, y'all.
Adios.